When you think of Infosys, you think Narayan Murthy, right? But what if I told you that Infosys has 7 co-founders? Yes, 7. In today's episode of the Indian Billionaires Co, we trace the journey of Infosys and how it went from zero to billions and brought about an IT revolution in India. Before Infosys, Mr. Murthy worked at Patni Computer Systems, where he was basically killing it by winning several software contracts from offshore clients. But there was a little voice in his head that said he could do more. So he chose to listen to it, and in 1980, Mr. Murthy quit his job along with his team members and gave birth to Infosys. On 2nd July 1981, they made it official. Infosys Consultants Private Limited was registered with 7 co-founders in Pune, and the front room of Narayan Murthy's home doubled up as their first office. While most people in metros may have a computer or a laptop, in 1980, not many were aware of how a computer worked or how this device would go on to change the world. And can you imagine an IT company without a computer? But that's how Infosys had to survive initially. There were 2 major obstacles to them getting a computer. One, they had to make multiple visits to Delhi since it had to be imported. And second, the finance. Computers were super expensive. And IT company में actually करते क्या है was a question most Indians dabbled with in the 80s. Due to this lack of understanding, bank officials refused to give a loan to Infosys. When no one backed up the business, that's when Sudha Murthy, Mr. Murthy's wife and best friend, stepped in. Sudha, who worked as an engineer, loaned rupees 10,000 to Infosys from her personal savings. While this may seem like a small amount, today that amount would be over 2 lakhs. This helped the company get started. 2 years down the line, they were finally able to secure a loan from a bank, and this enabled them to purchase their first ever computer in 1983. And decades after its inception, the results finally started to show. They got an offer to buy out Infosys for $1 million. Imagine being offered $1 million. You could probably buy a house in South Bombay. But Infosys rejected this offer because the founders knew how far the company could go, and they were just getting started. The 1990s seemed like their decade. Infosys was here to win. With almost 1,000 employees, they also captured the European market. Despite the 1992 scam and the Indian stock market slowdown, Infosys decided it was time to go public in 1993. The Infosys IPO took a bit of a hit initially but picked up soon enough. The company priced its shares at Rs 95 per share but closed at the listing price of Rs 145, which was almost a hike of 52% on the issue price. Let's put this into perspective. If you had invested Rs 10,000 in 1993, today that share price would be worth over 2 crore. However, the late 90s brought with it a slowdown in the IT sector all around the world. But then, at the end of the millennia, what rescued the Indian IT sector was a bug called Y2K. The term Y2K was an abbreviation for the year 2000. This Y2K bug caused a major calendar error. Computer calendar programs were unable to change the date from 1999 to 2000. This wouldn't be a problem, except that programs perform a lot of calculations based on dates, and that caused global chaos. The major industries to suffer would be banks, power plants, and transportation. As for these industries, it's extremely important to have accurate calendar dates to conduct transactions and various other processes. The only solution was to upgrade the computer systems around the world, which would require a large pool of engineers. That's how a big crisis for the world turned out to be a great opportunity for Indian IT firms like Infosys. The low cost of talent kickstarted the wave of outsourcing and helped Infosys on its way to becoming a billion-dollar company. By 1999, the company's revenue touched $100 million, and it became the first ever Indian company to get listed on the global stock market NASDAQ. It was a huge accomplishment for an Indian company, and from this point, there was no looking back. वो कहते हैं ना, अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने की कोशिश में लग ही जाती है. Narayan Murthy and his 6 co-founders proved this on every level as they went from a company in a living room to a billion-dollar IT empire. What about the Infosys journey inspires you the most? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Mashable India for more.